Okay, so I hope that you've gone back and looked at your learning objectives and made sure you have answers for those in your own words as much as possible. And now you're ready to do this other section. So let's have a look and see how bone tissue is put together. It's like an apartment block. You know, oh, here we go, that crazy Nat lady, she's mad. No, it really does look like an apartment complex. Let's have a look here. Here we have our osteoblast, which is a cell present in bone tissue. That cell starts making bone matrix all around it, like you are building a house, okay, all around it. Then the poor osteoblast becomes stuck in the matrix that it's made, and now it's in charge of maintaining that little section of bone matrix. So that osteoblast has become an osteocyte. So let's imagine that we have many of these sitting in a kind of a circle shape. Okay, so let's imagine that. Now let's imagine, right, that we have, so this makes up one ring. Okay, so all of these is just all of the osteocytes with their little bone matrix that they just made and that they have to maintain. This is one ring. Okay, now let's pretend that we have, let's look at this ring. Let's look at this ring here. Let's see, I think, oh, here we go, it turns. So this is this, and I just want you to imagine that each ball is the bone matrix, and that inside, hiding inside, is the little osteocyte. Okay, so that is what I want you to understand when I made that little 3D model for you. Okay, so that is one kind of ring in 3 kind of dimensions. Now, we left off and we saw the ring. Don't forget that inside each ball is a osteocyte that made that little part of bone matrix, yeah? Yeah. Now let's pretend that we have many, many, many rings, but now stacked on top of each other. Look at that. So now we have this kind of system. I have many, many of those stacked on top of each other. Yeah? Can you see how each ring can be a floor in an apartment building, and each osteocyte can have its own little room? So the osteocyte with its matrix can be a room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rooms to a floor. 8 rooms to a floor. Let me get this to, I don't think it's going to do it again. But anyway, you can manipulate these anyway. If you get it out of presenter view, you can manipulate it yourself. Yeah, you use little controls and you can manipulate it. All right. Now, there are 2 kinds of bone tissue. There is compact bone and there is spongy bone. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at compact bone first and get our heads around how that kind of is all put together. And then we're going to look at spongy bone, okay? Right, so remember this ring, which is our kind of apartment block or our hotel. So this hotel is a skyscraper. There's nothing going through the middle. but can you see here that we have so many rooms on each floor? Okay. Now, one of these rings, okay, so every osteocyte, okay, remember that the osteocytes are in each ball, are in each room. They are pictured green here in my picture. Can you see that there? So what I've made here is one of these rings. That's why I made that picture for you, because I want you to understand what one ring was, okay? So all of the osteocytes are coloured in green. You don't see them here because they're inside, but I have made a ring, one of these rings. Now, if you have quite a few rings together, so here is one ring, here is a wider ring, here is another wide ring, and here's another ring. That whole structure is called an osteon. So an osteon is present in compact bone, and each osteon is composed of concentric rings, okay, which is what I made. Okay, I made one of these, but if you pretend if you had multiples of those, then that's called an osteon. So as an activity, I want you to number how many osteons, complete osteons, can you see in this picture. Okay, do that as an activity. Now, we do have some canals that go through the middle of the rings. Can you see here the green areas? Can you see how you have like a canal going through the osteon? See that there? That goes through the osteon. You can kind of think of that as a lift, like a lift going all the way up to the top of the building. Okay? Now, why do we have that? Is because we can put blood vessels in there and lymphatic drainage and nerves. So they're called central canals. We also have other canals. Now, these ones go between osteons. So one hotel, another hotel, these canals go between hotels, all right? So you have one osteon, another osteon, and can you see here, I can go down here, via here, and go into the other osteon here, all right? I can get between osteons using these perforating canals. Now again, we need that for blood going in, blood going out, lymphatic fluid coming out, and also nerves. Right, so we know about the osteons, and they were pretty cool. But as you can see, there's also bone matrix and osteocytes between the osteons. And they are called interstitial lamellae, okay, because they sit between the osteons. And then we also have the bone matrix and osteocytes that live on the outside edge of town and on the inside, okay? So they don't live in the osteon, they live on the outer margins, okay? And they are called circumferential laminae. Laminae just means layer, all right? So they're not arranged in this circular manner, they're just around the outside. Okay. I might just let you catch up on your notes and then I will record a next video.